was kind of good.
You know what? I like that. You can take away the kinda. how good was it?
Welcome to another episode of Wingz Alwayz, Making 100 CEOs podcast. We are excited, as usual, to have the guests that we have in the building today. I'm gonna call off some names, okay? Chris Clark, that's from the 70s, so you have to take it way back. Tina Marie, Sheena Easton, Adele, Amy Winehouse, Christina Aguilera. And now we have in the house Amber.
Nice introduction. I didn't know that was coming. I was like, where is this going? But yeah, that's nice.
Yes, Amber, say your last name because I didn't want to butcher it. One more time for me.
DeCassios.
Okay, Amber DeCassios.
Yeah.
So, and she goes by Amber DeCassios. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something, guys. I have been listening to Amber. I've been to all the shows. I've been when she didn't even know I was there. I remember back when I first moved here, I came to a little hotel and they used to do an open mic. And I remember hearing this voice.
Oceans?
And, I'm out Oceans. That was it.
For real?
That was it. And I was like getting a drink at the bar. So all I did was heard this voice. And I'm like, wow. So I go around the corner and I see Amber. I see this white girl with this big old soulful voice. And I was just impressed. I was mesmerized. And ever since then, she's been popping up on the scenes and I've heard a lot about Amber. And we have the opportunity tonight to meet Amber on an intimate level. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Honestly, that's crazy that you say that because I did not know that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I had no idea.
You sure did. I've actually taken a picture with you at...
I mean, you look familiar, like we've met before. Excuse me.
I've taken a picture with you at, I'm trying to think, Pink Parrot. We were at Pink Parrot on the rooftop. Downtown.
I remember. Oh my God, I remember because I think I was with two girls, right?
Yes, you was with two girls. You was with Quintisha, and we interviewed Quintisha too. You were with Quintisha, and you were with I can't remember the other person you were with, but that's when we took a picture on the rooftop. So I've been a fan. I've been a fan for a long time.
Thank you.
So, and we appreciate you coming. So we're going to introduce you to the world, guys. So,
hi.
Who is Amber? Tell us about, let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your upbringing, and how, it shaped your love for what you do now.
That is a good question because I don't know how I have to think about that. I grew up I was born in Oklahoma. I was born in Muskogee, but I grew up in Florida. My dad was not in the military, but he worked for an airline. So he liked to go from airline to airline, you know what I mean? To make it up the ranks there. And so I guess, since my parents weren't around a lot, working a lot, I spent a lot of time by myself listening to music all the time in my room. My dad was a good protector and in that way, like he was controlling. So I wasn't do anything, you know what I mean? Right. And they were gone all the time and I was scared of, going and sneaking out or anything like that. So I really was confined in my room to listen to music all day, every day, try to hit notes, you know what I mean? and just keep doing it until I hit them, you know what I mean? And just practice every day, all day, hours. And that's probably what,
That's awesome.
I could always sing, but it wasn't until I, was obsessive with it, I guess, that I could, do the things that I can do now.
Right.
Okay. Right. So what persuaded you to go after the music industry?
So there were two things that I wanted to do when I grew up. Two things. Growing up in Florida, I wanted to be a marine biologist. And then I wanted to sing. They were like, that was it, maybe a dolphin trainer after becoming a marine biologist. I know it sounds so stupid, but that was like what I wanted to do. Because, I liked animals and they were cool. That's the only thing I could think of. But I realized how scary the ocean is and you can't outswim big fish. And that was like it for me after that. Nope.
It's not that bad.
Oh, I was snorkeling. Bad. No, I did. I was snorkeling.
Let me tell you. You want to be eaten alive by something you can't stop?
Let me tell you.
All right, go ahead.
I was in the middle of the ocean before, and
in a confined object, right?
You was no confinement at all. We were just like right there in the middle. I mean, I had like marks and stuff all on my legs because I don't know what type of creatures were just like attacking me, but it was fun though.
Yeah,
ma'am. My point exactly, but my experience was way less terrifying than that. It was just, I saw really big fish. Like we went, my parents had saved up their entire lives. And then when I was like 16-ish, we took a trip to Hawaii and we got to snorkel in, on the shore and where the coral reef and that stuff is where you can touch the ground. That's okay. Still terrifying because there's still stuff that can kill you, but it's less terrifying than if you can't see. I'm scared of heights too. So deep water has the same effect on me as like this, being up high.
Right.
So I didn't know that at all until it was too late. Like we got to, open water and we all got on our little snorkel things. Why we didn't have scuba gear on, I don't know. Because people were diving deep down with these little snorkel things that are attached to, it doesn't go all the way up to that thing. Like, what are you going to,
you have to hold your breath.
You're going to inhale more water. You know what I mean? So, but I looked down and there was these huge circles, huge. Like I'm telling you, I couldn't explain it. I still have nightmares, but it made me realize you can't outswim a fish and you're in their territory and we still have not explored that ocean. Mm-hmm. So, now as I'm halfway into the story, realizing that that's not the answer that I'm looking for. So I'm like, how did I get that far into it? I wanted to be a marine biologist. I have ADD.
Erica talking about them parasites.
I have ADD. So like I tend to go off subject.
Let me tell you, we all
made my point.
We all got Florida stories.
But the two things that I wanted to do in life were those two things. And once I realized I was too terrified to do the things, because, as a marine biologist, you got to actually be there in the ocean. And I don't want that. Then I decided I wanted to do music, but I ended up getting married and I'm a hopeless romantic. And my ex-husband was in the military. Mm-hmm. And so I put my life on hold to raise a family and was married for 12 years and then got a divorce. After that divorce, my daughters are now old. Not old, but almost 21 and 19. And then my youngest son, he's 14. Awesome. So they're old enough to do their own thing now for the most part. And I can pursue what I want to do. And I really thought it was important for me to show them that, it's important to have a 2-parent household. That's what I showed you for as long as I did. But it's also important to, not stay in something if you're not happy, that's not healthy. But also that it's also important to have your own identity and chase your dreams. You know what I mean? So I wanted to show them all of those things, and I didn't always do the right things in that process. But at the same time, that's what made me, drive to do it now. Because my big push was to put my music out before I turned 40. And I turned 40 in February and I did it. So it was like my bucket list thing to do.
Awesome.
And I just felt like if I don't do anything else, like any music ever again, that one project it has to happen, So
how did R&B become your genre of choice? Where did your soulfulness come from?
To be honest with you, that's the only music I've ever listened to.
Okay.
other than Disney movies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like growing up, my parents would put on those movies when we were, toddlers and stuff, and I would hum that. But I don't know what point it was that I came across an R&B song, but ever since I can remember listening to music, it's always been R&B. I don't even really like pop or country or rap or anything else. I mean, I appreciate those art forms, but you come to my house or in my car, I'm listening to R&B all day.
Who's your influencers? Who do you listen to? Who moves you?
So I can give you a couple of different answers depending on, because I'm looking at it from an artist standpoint. So growing up, I always loved poetic type writing. So Mariah Carey, not just with the vocally, the Olympics that she tries, you know what I mean? I learned how to sing that way, but in the writing, I started out writing poetry, and her stuff is very poetic in the way that she describes how she feels, her connections and things like that. So Alicia Keys was a big one growing up on keys in A minor, mainly like her beginning stuff. Because she did a lot with her keys, you know what I mean? Then I think the production from her husband came into, more in her music once they got together, which is fine. But outside of my taste, I like the piano, the acoustic stuff, you know what I mean? Again, back to the poetic stuff. So, yeah, I mean, female wise, Aaliyah, Alicia Keys, Mariah, anybody big, Whitney, anybody that actually had a big voice, Kiki Wyatt, all of those big voices with amazing runs, a lot of gospel artists, I would listen to because it moved me. It made me cry. You know what I mean? Like anything that actually evokes that type of emotion, I want to make a difference in that way. You know what I mean? Like that's why I make music, is to try to make a difference. You know what I mean? When I feel inspired, it's because of music. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that really keeps me out of depression. So, I want to make music for people who do struggle in the same way. You know what I mean? There's so much out there, and there's an outlet for everything. I'm not going to shit on anybody's music. You know what I mean? Because it's art and it's art form, and everybody should express themselves in positive ways. Art is that way. That doesn't mean your art's good either way. Yeah. But at the same time, that's also subjective. Who am I to say? Somebody else might like it. You know what I mean? So I never want to shit on anybody else, but I make music specifically to make a difference,
Yeah. So how do you feel that your music has evolved over the years?
Oh, good question. I used to just sing cover. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, my confidence level was not at the point where I thought that I was good enough to write my own stuff. So it evolved from there to not feeling like it was important. It was important for me to be able to write my own music at that point, because it was then a part of my artistry, because I wanted to, how I listen to Mariah, for example. She made me feel things when she was singing about pain or the way that somebody treated her. You know what I mean? Like that the way you could hear it, the pain in her voice.
Yes.
That I wanted to be able to express myself in those ways. You know what I mean? So
Mary J. Blige.
Yes.
She sings pain.
Yes, and that's a really good example. And I was just talking to somebody about that. Yeah. I was talking to somebody about that because when we go through our experiences in life, like love, I'm a hopeless romantic for a reason. I'm not going to be stupidly in love, but I will be a submissive, traditional woman that will do whatever for her man. You know what I mean? Because again, I'm like, if I feel like he's the protector provider, that's the role I fall into.
One time for that.
But you end up getting hurt a lot in this day and age being that way. Yes. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about it, and it was like, Mary J., a lot of good women get hurt and express themselves in beautiful ways. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's the purpose. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much, though, that
You can
in
learn
this
a
point in my
lesson from
life,
your
a lot of
pain.
things make sense to me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's how my music evolved, I guess. Because instead of feeling like, why do people keep treating me this way? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a good person. Why do I keep getting hurt? Why do I put my all out there and I'm so nice to get all of this evil to come back at me? And it's because I can. It's because I'm strong. It's because I have a voice to speak out about it. You know what I mean? Like, I can make a difference.
And
I can speak
sometimes
about
they
these
can change
things
you as well.
Yeah.
You know?
And I can be the difference of not perpetuating that hate. You know what I mean? Like, I could go in, because I've heard the story over and over and over again, especially with artists out here these days. And you probably heard it too if you've talked to them. We're out here just getting hurt, you know what I mean, by people thinking they're our friends. And we're continuously doing this cycle of hurt just because we think that, oh, they hurt me, so I'm just going to do this. That doesn't make you any better at all. That actually makes you exactly what you're talking about at the end of the day. So do you want to be part of the mess or do you want to rise above it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's basically what I'm saying.
It draws you into that whirlpool.
Yeah.
You have a whirlpool, and either you're going to
nobody's intentions are to stay there. They just get stuck there. I was there. You know what I mean? So I'm not looking down on anybody that does that. But my point of saying all that is that's how it evolved.
Yeah.
Because now I can talk about the things that I go through in a healthy way and not a disrespectful way either. I'm not making diss tracks. I'm a singer. I'm not a rapper. But at the same time, like, you know, I'm not going out disrespecting anybody. All I'm doing is talking about how the pain hurt me and how I got over it instead of hurting myself or anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not busting anybody's windows out. I'm not, you know, slashing tires and stuff like that.
Hurt people.
Exactly. And
so you're trying to end the cycle.
I'm trying to bring positivity in an ugly, negative world. We see negativity everywhere. And the music that's being put out now is so negative. Like, even the positive stuff, just bounce your ass, shake your ass, has a negative impact on society.
Especially women and young girls.
And respect for women. Like, I work in a corporate environment in my day, you know, job. I don't get paid as much as men do. You know, all of these things make a difference in what's, you know, mainstream media puts out what we are supposed to look like as women.
Which,
you know,
since we're in that world right now, I want to talk about what I think you've experienced, and you may have or may not, but I'm going to ask you about it. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, have you faced any challenges in Prejudice as an artist, as an R&B artist, as a white R&B artist?
That's honestly, I can't really even say Prejudice. And I haven't really felt it. And maybe it's me being naive or blind to it because of the way that I look at things. I look at things, honestly, a lot differently than a lot of people do. I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. You know, I'm not trying to have a certain friend that looks a certain way or anything like that. I'm around people I feel comfortable with. You know what I mean? And I'm listening to music that I've always loved since I can even remember. And I can't even tell you why I started listening to it. It just happened. You get what I'm saying? It's organic. I don't know. When I started singing, it sounded like this. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, my perspective is a lot different because I understand the perspective of someone who feels like, you know, they've been singing all their lives. They sing amazing, but because they look a certain way, they're not ever going to get that, you know, same publicity or the same limelight that I could with the same talent that they have. I don't like that either. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to sing what I love because I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't create. You get what I'm saying? Because I've heard so many times somebody tell me to sing country music or to sing this type of music or to sing that. Well, then you write it for me and then I'll sing it. But at the same time, that doesn't make me at the level of the artist that I am, being able to write what I can organically. Again, this is not coming from what I think a certain demographic of people want to hear. This is just what I hear when I listen to a beat. You know what I mean? I'll write my experiences and what I want to hear. And when you listen to my music, you'll hear that too. Yeah. You're not going to hear me say things that don't sound like they would come out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not that I'm trying to be anything that I'm not. And I haven't felt that energy come from anyone except for people outside of music, they're not viewing me in a music way. They're just viewing me societal way,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So, I don't know if that's...
And that's a
Yeah,
good
so-
thing. That's a good thing.
so what?
Messing up your creativity too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
If somebody's trying to ask you to write a different song or sing a different way, it hurts. Like,
Yes.
Especially if they're close to you.
Absolutely. And I've heard a lot of good feedback though. With a lot of people that have been close to me, I've heard bad feedback and I've heard good feedback. I'm big on feedback because you never know if you're doing something that could be improved until somebody gives you that perspective. And then you can look at it through their eyes and try to, you know, have that type of, again, perspective, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in the music career or just your career in general?
Leading into what I was saying just before, that feedback can be detrimental even to how you create. Because if you're receiving feedback and you have the mindset like I have, let's take that feedback and see what we can do and come back and, you know, implement it in the way that we want to. You know what I mean? Like, you're not ever going to take feedback and do it exactly how somebody says. You're going to take it and implement it how you think you should. My problem was, a lot of people were giving me feedback on the direction that they think I should go instead of like, okay, you think I should go that way, but you think this is a hit, but do you have a hit? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be funny, but like, we're all here and you're working with me who also doesn't have a hit. So as you're trying to convince me that I don't know how to make a hit, I'm looking for yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what I had to really get my perspective on. Like, yeah, I respect your artistry, but you don't respect mine at the end of the day. If you keep cutting me off and telling me, no, it should be sing like this. Like, you should sing it like this. You should do it like this. Before you even hear what I have, that means you don't respect me and you think that so that's kind of been one of my biggest challenges, is trying to take everybody's feedback when they're not even coming from a place that's, you know,
it's not good.
Yeah, not all feedback is good feedback. Some is just criticism, and you just have to take it as that.
So, can you share a memory with us? You know, it's kind of an experience or a highlight. You know, that the power of R&B has connected either people or community for you.
Oceans. Man, that was the funnest time ever. Shout out to Poetic City, because that's what happened.
I have to agree. Oceans introduced me to a lot of Oklahoma artists.
Yes,
it really did.
That's actually what got me networking with everyone. And honestly, like I get goosebumps thinking about it, because that time period, like, even though it was only like a year or so, that's what got me all of my confidence. Because before that, I wasn't even putting or even thinking of putting my own music out. I was only singing karaoke at a karaoke bar, you know? So having an open mic gave me ideas to, okay, now I want to try to write this and then see what they think about this, you know? And because I was around a lot of supportive, beautiful people who were very, very talented. So I was seeing it's like almost like going to a talent show in high school. Right. And all of the people are talented and you just want to show off your talent in front of all of those talented people, you know? So,
best feelings.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know how to bring something like that back, because again,
we're bringing it back. That's what the ultimate social venue, Wingz Alwayz, will bring back. You know, that atmosphere. And as I was sitting in Oceans way back then, I was thinking how I could make it even better.
Yes.
And we'll have a main stage up top for our established artists. We'll have a shell auditorium outside for our summer events. And we'll have country, we'll have R&B, we'll have jazz, and we'll have comedy.
That's awesome.
Every day.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a place that you can bring your family to and enjoy all different types of artistries and all different type of art forms. Because I know the feeling I had when I was sitting just watching artists perform and do their work.
Yeah.
And so if I could do that every day of the week, or if I can do it any day of the week, not necessarily every day of the
Exactly.
week, but
Like
any day of the
I
week,
would do it every day of the week if I
would.
could, but I would
I
settle
would.
for an hour every week and yearn for more. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would do. But yeah, absolutely. That was the best time, honestly, because during that time, I think it was before everyone really tried to how do I say this in the best way? I think just because we're artists and we're talented, we get so enamored and like intoxicated with the idea of each other because, wow,
Right.
you're so, you know what I mean? So it's like this whole idea of someone. And then again, that perpetuation of hurt. And we're all like not doing the things that we expect of each other, but we're not reciprocating it either.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of things like that happen along the way. But if I could bring that like that was like the best time.
It was good times. I remember
So much talent. I don't think I've ever seen so much talent in my life.
Right.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your most recent project and what has inspired you?
So the most recent project is the only project at this point,
Okay.
but it is
it's your transition from doing covers and karaoke to
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Let me be completely transparent. There was one other like project, but I never even networked with music. I never even networked with music before. I was just writing. I was actually showing my kids because we were doing a bonding thing. I bought a few beats off of BeatStars, and I was like, this is how I would approach writing a song, because one of my daughters had sang. So, you know, if she wanted to learn how someone would, I don't know much, but I'll tell you how I do it, you know, and that's
Right.
how we started it. And I did like 4 songs
Awesome.
for the first time ever, but I did it in GarageBand. And the funny thing about it is I teach, I work for Apple. So I'm an instructor and I teach advisors how to provide tech support. And that was one of the apps that I was teaching them. So I was going back to one of the songs 7 years ago that I recorded.
Awesome.
And showing them how the app works so they can support customers who have that. So it was really cool to go back to that point in life. And it's funny that you're asking that now, because it's the only other thing that I've done, but it's also what actually gave me the idea that I can actually write and put some stuff together that actually sounds okay. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like somebody would actually listen to it. So that's actually when I started to perform at Oceans, I think one of the songs that I sang was one of the songs that I did in GarageBand. So, but yeah, my project now, I did 2 years ago, actually. I did a show and Super J was there as the headliner. And I remember asking him years, like when he was actually, like when he was on, I think he had a song with Shasha Jones. So when that was, I love that song.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose. Yeah, that song. I loved that song. So I had heard that song and I wanted to, but I had no music out. I lived in, I think, Colorado Springs at the time. I don't know. My husband was in the military, so we moved around a lot. But I knew somebody that knew him. So I asked, would you, how much is a feature? And it was a large price that I couldn't afford at the time. So then having the show and he saw me perform, which the song he saw me perform is one of the songs on this project that he recorded, which is so cool because he saw me there and, he said I did really good. And so I told him I wanted to work with him, and he made sure he followed up with me at another event that I had and was like, hey, are we really going to work? Like, we should work. And so after that, I went, and I had a really hard time working with a lot of engineers based off of what we were just talking about, the feedback, not hearing what I have. I'm coming to you and I'm paying you to do something. And you're an engineer, yes, but I think a lot of people in this business, when we jump into it and have so much passion, we don't clearly understand what the roles are in each one of these roles. Videography, for example, photography, like all of the other things that nobody tells us these things. We just assume, right? So a example that I can correlate to is like, for example, a videographer that's doing like a music video.
Correct.
They expect a music, like a whole director of the music video. And that's a whole different role. Like you have somebody to shoot the video. That is your videographer right there. You need direction. You need a makeup artist. You need you know what I mean? A whole crew of people. You need a storyboard written out of what your video should look like each scene. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. But that stuff is extra cost. It's not what the videographer comes up with out of the blue because you paid him $300 to do it. Right. You get what I mean? So, an engineer, you know what I mean? Like, I think the passion comes from a lot of great places, but it ends up being an issue when you're paying somebody to do something and they're impeding on your art.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that was the biggest challenge that I had. And I was scared to work with new people because of that. I decided to work with, you know, because I really, really respect Super J. So, and I wanted to work with a singer to record me because the effects and all of that. So first session, we did Too Much to Lose. The song with Joe Money, because me and Joe Money had ended up having a writing session, I think a few nights before, because I knew this was coming up. And then, so those two songs were done in 4 hours. Super J made the beat for Too Much to Lose. I went to go grab everybody, some food and, you know, just beverages or whatever, and came right back. And he already had the hook, his part of the hook and his verse done, and the beat, because he made the beat.
Wow.
It was amazing to see that done so quickly. And then, you know, then to see Joe Money come in and do his part as well. Like, it was important for me on this project to select
the time efficiency and the professionalism.
First of all, because as an artist, we pay for everything.
Yeah. Time is money.
I'm wondering, because it's a sell a dream business at this point.
Yes.
And the artist is the one that's losing. And I'm just being honest. We're not making any money. Even the people, like even the artists who act like they're making money, they're not making it off of music. Okay. They're not making it off of music. So you got to have a different lane. Yeah. The music may get you the attention, but you got to find another lane to make the actual money, because there's no money in this music. It's oversaturated. There's too many people. There's a lot of talent. Yeah. But there's a lot of AI that comes in and takes over the talent. And it doesn't really matter a lot if you have talent anymore. If it's hooky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and now I forgot my point, but, whatever you asked me, I don't know. I have ADD, just to let everybody know, if you can't tell already. Yeah. So
for you, what message, and you kind of answered a lot of my questions before I even asked you, and I love that about you, because you go into the story and you continue to go and you bring out your experiences very well. You articulate it. But what message or feeling do you hope listeners take away from your music that you're making right now? What are you wanting to project?
You know, I have it on my social media pages for a reason, but it's part of my branding that I want people to know that I make music for people who still believe in real love and, you know, positive and healthy communication and relationships. Now, is that always going to happen in my music? I'm going to talk about how the way that they treated me was not healthy, or, you know what I mean? And I'm going to say how it made me feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's not always going to be a positive, you know, song, of course, because I'm not always treated well. I'm talking about my experiences at the end of the day. But what I try to do in everything, and I've made a huge point of it as I get older, is how I can be looked at as a role model. And I mean that for younger women, because at the end of the day, who are we to look at? All we have to look at are a bunch of people who decide that they want to get their bodies modified. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't mind, because look, you know what I mean? I don't mind makeup. I don't mind, you know, enhancing yourself. I don't mind any of that stuff. But I also don't want people to have health issues, you know what I mean, and risk their lives to look a certain way, when all they could do is just appreciate themselves at the end of the day. Because I appreciate beauty, in all forms. Not one beautiful woman to me, and I like, not one beautiful woman to me looks a certain way.
Yeah.
And now all women look the same, and they look like the
because
ants.
It's society.
The cartoon ants. They look like them. They're and I'm not trying to be mean or funny, but like, why do we have to go through all this pain and heartache and all of this stuff
to be accepted,
to not be respected by the man that we're doing this for at the end of the day?
Socially acceptance.
And then get trashed by our fellow women that should be uplifting us. Like, that's what I'm saying. And I really, really want to have a lane where women can still be sexy, can still be, risque a little bit. Like, I want to be able to say when I want to. I want to be able to roll up a blunt and smoke if I want to. But I still conduct myself a certain way. And I still, when I come into the room, I'm going to command a certain type of attention, and it's not going to be disrespect. You know what I mean? Right. You're not going to see me at the clubs shaking my ass, even if my friends are in the corner doing it. But you're not going to disrespect me because my friends do it. And you're not going to disrespect my friend because she wants to have fun. You get what I mean? Like, that's basically how I feel. And I'm very big on, I understand it's a man's world. I get it. It's set up that way. And I don't know if it'll ever change, but women are smart too. Absolutely. And women have a lot to contribute into to the world too. And if men like, not all men are the same. I'm not going to say that. And it sounds like I might be, and I'm not. I've been in a lot of rooms with a lot of powerful men, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's that I just wish that men had a different perspective of being able to listen to a woman's opinion, because sometimes we have some amazing ideas, and it's not always to twerk. Right. You know what I mean? And it's not always to, like, yeah, my titties may be out, or yeah, I might, have a short skirt on or whatever, because it's fucking cute and I like fashion. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that at the end of the day, you don't want to listen to what I have to say when I could make you a lot of money. And it doesn't mean because I'm selling my body. You get what I mean? Yeah. It might be because I have a lot of great corporate ideas. You know what I mean? Things like that. But you're not listening to me because I'm a woman.
Right. And coming from a corporate person that was corporate my whole life, I see that. I understand exactly what you're saying. But it's really not so much that a man doesn't want to listen to what you have to say. He wants to believe that what he is right. He wants to believe that he's the brains behind everything. And he won't allow himself.
That's true.
To give that to somebody else. Or he'll hear your idea and all of a sudden it's his. And he'll take that idea from you and not give you that credit.
That's why I do everything by myself. I learned how to do everything by myself, or pay somebody to do it. And that's how I got around that, because another thing with doing music, you have to have a boundary. You know what I mean? You have to have, because that's why they say you can sell your soul. Like, you have to have a limit, because somebody is going to ask you to do everything.
Yes.
And I mean that, like, especially if you're trying to pursue your dreams, because they'll sell the dream. They'll hang that carrot in front of you like it is a fucking dream that they're about to give you. And then they'll bait and switch as soon as they get what they want to, and then treat you like you're trash afterwards. Yeah. It happens. And that's another reason why I want to be a role model for women, because I want to show them they don't have to do those types of things because they're sold a dream. Right. Don't believe what he's saying, because you can do all of the things legitimately the way that, you want to, and still be respected and make the money that you want to.
That is true.
So what advice would you give to a new upcoming artist or someone who wants to begin doing music?
Treat your music production, the way you release music, the way you present yourself, the way you market yourself as a business. The entire thing. Your whole identity at this point becomes a business. So every time you go outside, you're presenting yourself as this business. So now your friends those aren't your, you know what I mean? Like when you're networking, those aren't your friends. You're not making friends. You are networking. You are trying to get your name out there. So that way you're not getting messy with these people and they're not spreading your rumors and they're not, you know what I mean? They're not feeling a certain way because they thought you are presenting yourself as a business and you are being 100% transparent as you're doing so. Branding is such a big thing as an artist. Marketing yourself as that business and making music your product. At the end of the day, music is your product. It is not something you're passionate about. You need to figure out how you can market your music. I don't like social media. I hate it. But you see me all over social media because I'm learning how to tag my own music in the pictures that I post. I don't even like posting pictures, but I'm going to. I don't like doing my makeup all the time, but I will to do a picture, to post my music, tag my music in it and tell you to stream my music with the link there. So it's easy to find it. You know what I mean? All of those things, marketing. You know what I mean? And I don't see that in Oklahoma enough. I see a lot of amazing visuals. I see a lot of amazing music. I see a lot of amazing, talent and fashion and all of these great things, but I don't see social media being used as a marketing tool. And what you're doing is great because it gives us a platform. But I see a lot of complaining about people who are innovating in the ways that you are. And I wanted to talk about that too before this is all over, because if you all have a problem about something, for example, People Choice Awards or something like that. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I think that was an amazing platform to have, because now you're giving a platform that didn't exist before. Now we don't have celebrities in Oklahoma. Why? Because we don't have platforms like this to recognize them.
Right.
It's smoke and mirrors, guys. If we made it, then it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's what we say it is. It's marketing. So if we actually came together and said it's bigger than us and stopped with the whole, I don't mess with this person because they mess with that person, and really just said, okay, we're going to have this award show and we're going to show up for, I don't like how they did this, but who cares? We're going to all come together. Now it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a problem with it, don't complain about it. Do something better. Now we have multiple platforms to do it. You know what I'm saying? I hate when somebody complains about something, but doesn't come up with an idea to fix it. Don't complain about it. Innovate. That's the reason that you're angry. Maybe you need to have that fuel to create, and then come up with a reason to complain about it, because now you have a different, you don't like this? I don't like it either. Try this. But you can't just say, I don't like this. You sound like a hater. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just had to say that because I'm tired of it.
But it's true. And one of the things that I always say, about the artists in Oklahoma City is that there's a lot of talent, but we're at an infancy stage where they're not understanding how to present that talent.
Even the most talented, even the most recognized are underusing cross-networking, are underusing the social media platforms, underusing content creation. Like and I'm giving away my ideas, but if we had, for example, and I'm doing this because I want to see it happen, honestly, go do it better than me, but you probably can't. But, but you know what I mean? You don't have my ideas. So that's why I'm giving this, but I really do want people to create. Man, some of these videographers should come out and we should come together, because I do photography and videography, and I learned how to do a lot of the things myself because I have social anxiety and I don't like dealing with people. So I'll try to do everything that I can. That's why I do my hair myself. I do my makeup myself. I learned how to do everything myself.
Right.
So if videographers came together, or photographers even, came together and said, today's going to be our content day. On these days, this day a month, anybody who wants to come out for their social media and come out and create, they're going to pay this fee, which should be a small fee, because everybody coming together should end up benefiting at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And we, do a schedule out and we do this creation together. We come up with ideas for content creation. Now we're a whole team working together for each other. It's mutually beneficial. Everything costs. I am broke. And it's not because I don't make good money. I'm broke because I'm giving it all out for my passion for music.
For your passion.
So if we could come together and work together and be a team together and create these things, then maybe we all just wouldn't be broke.
It's
At least we wouldn't be broke.
it's the only
You know what I
way.
mean?
And that's why we say making 100 CEOs, because we have to
Absolutely.
do it together. 100 minds coming together with one idea makes a billion ideas.
And healthy competition is healthy competition. Me being healthy competition is telling you how my idea, what I just told you, and saying, if you can do it better, do it. Because I'm giving an idea that can help the entire community of music here in Oklahoma. Let's do these things and create. Now we're being taken seriously, because why in Oklahoma do I go to all of these artist pages and I don't know where their music links are to be able to find their music? Why do I ask all of these artists if they have an EPK and they don't even know what I'm talking about? And it makes me upset, because that's why we're not taking seriously. You know what I mean? Like, nobody takes it seriously because
the rest of the world.
Yeah, the rest of the world, when they say we're from Oklahoma, you don't take music seriously because we don't know a lot of things. And it's not our fault. It is, because accountability. But at the end of the day, it's not our fault if we're all scared to jump.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody talks about everybody when they do something with motion. Stop, just join us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's just create. It doesn't always have to be good. We bump around until we find something that works. But nobody has a hit yet. So let's work together until we find it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why on every hit, you see about 12 names on the songwriters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chris Brown said, you could write it, but who's going to sing it like me? And there's a lane for every single body, like every person. You know what I mean? So whereas you might be able to catch the best angles for someone, or, create the best sound in a podcast, like someone else has the great conversation or the great questions. So it all comes down to being able to find a good team, you know what I mean, to harmoniously act together.
That's hard.
But until we bump around and figure out who works good together, without, saying, okay, I'm not working with you because we had one argument back in 2019.
Right.
People
you know what I
gotta
mean?
be humble too, man.
Right.
No,
It's
and
like sometimes you gotta sit in that spot and learn that position in that moment.
Absolutely.
Like next month, you might be somewhere else in that with that team.
And I'm not judging anybody for how they react to the how they've been treated in the past or the experiences that they've had. I've not been in every room with every artist to know what happened between this artist or that artist. All I know is my experiences. And what I can say from my experiences, any person that I don't have a good relationship with now, I'd work with.
Right.
If they're talented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have to take the emotion out of it.
Absolutely. I'm going to give somebody praise if they're talented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of artists I don't like personally. But if you ask me if I would work with them, hell yeah, I know they'll deliver.
Sure.
Right.
They're amazing.
You gotta be smart.
You don't have, that's work.
Yeah,
that's like a work friend, for example. I'm not going to hang out with you outside of work, but I will work with you because I know you'll work good.
With this guy.
Yes.
Exactly. That's my point.
He's gonna do his job, and that's why.
And honestly, it's better that way, because when you mix personal up with, you have expectations that end up, somebody don't fulfill those expectations.
Right.
And at the end of the day, now we're upset at each other and it stops the business. So if you look at it that way, we can do a lot of amazing things in Oklahoma. We just got to put those emotions out.
And I think we're doing that.
Yeah.
So it is a start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at. And
I almost choke on my drink.
And not only are we going to start it, but we're going to do it in front of the world. And we're going to show the world that Oklahoma has some talent.
And I'll be
Oklahoma
clapping and supporting every bit of the way, for
And
sure.
Oklahoma has a voice in the music industry.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud of the artists. I'm proud of all of the artists that, have come to the podcast, that have yet to come to the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I see so much talent, and it just puts a smile on my face, and it puts something in my heart. So, and that's why I want to introduce the world to people like you and, people like our producer. We
love this.
It's inspiring. And honestly, like in a world today, we need to be experience inspiring things. You know what I mean?
Right.
One of the things that I wanted to do was start a podcast. And it was to talk about how the creation of art, how it helps mental health.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, and really help people who are struggling with mental health issues. And it doesn't have to be singing. You know what I mean? It could be
It's all kind of art
painting.
forms,
It could be
yes.
painting. It's expressing yourself. Find an outlet to express yourself in a positive way, because what I'm seeing is our parents aren't teaching us how to deal with our emotions.
Right.
So as we're growing up, we're hurting other people
Because they lack
and we're being violent.
emotional intelligence.
Exactly. We have no emotional intelligence. We don't know how to process those emotions. So at the end of the day, we're fighting each other. You know what I mean? So
Right.
art helps, is what I'm trying to say.
It does.
And the more that we have things like this, the better, is all I'm saying. So
regular
More conversations.
intelligence, emotional intelligence is very important, but people don't know the difference between it.
absolutely.
And, you know, music is a good outlet for that in any art form.
Right. And
You
therapy, for example, a lot of people don't believe in therapy. It's not about, you know, talking shit. It's not about, you know, it's venting your feelings and being able to process them in a healthy way and not worry about who's going to talk about you and what you said to them at the end of the day, because they can't
And
say
mostly
anything.
learning technique.
Absolutely. On how to
deal with yourself.
suppress your anger, like, and be able to, because you're angry because you're hurt at the end of the day. It's very childish to me when somebody gets so angry that they want to hurt somebody.
Well, let's not say suppress. Maybe just work through
A different outlet. They're using a negative
Because when
outlet.
you
They could use a
suppress
positive
it,
outlet. You're right.
When you suppress it,
It
next
could
thing
blow
you
up
know, it's
like a bomb.
It's like, okay,
Don't
now
do that. Don't
now
suppress
it
your feelings.
now it explodes. Now
Yeah, don't
it
do that. Don't
explodes.
do
So
that.
you just have to.
explode in the room by themselves.
Yeah,
No,
you just have
listen,
to work it
I-
out and figure out a different way
I've been
to do
in
it.
a bad situation where it was like that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get you.
Yeah,
you want to be able to express yourself.
Positively.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
Being able to learn how to express yourself in a positive way without it being so negative. I've been
mature.
abused.
Right.
Mature ways.
So do you think you'll ever get married again? Is that something that's on your to-do list? Is that something
It's not.
that you're okay with?
Yes, but it's not a like
Priority.
it doesn't hold a badge or anything to me. Like the relationship that I'm in is very committed. I'm very happy. And I feel like that's my soulmate. I feel like at the end of the day, I found that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't need a piece of paper. And if I wanted to make a vow to that person, you know what I mean? Honestly, I kind of feel like it's already been made, you know, in God's sake, you know, with my relationship, you know what I mean? Like, so in the way that I move, in the way that I act around him or without him, in the way that I represent him, I feel like, you know, I'm representing him as a wife would. My perspective on like signing a paper is more legal. But and I don't care, honestly, I don't. Would I care to get married if he wanted to if it was important to appease him? To appease him, I would. But I've already been married. I was married for 12 years. I'm the type of person that something may mean something to me at that, you know what I mean? But once I've experienced it and understand the ins and outs and why, the purpose of being with somebody and harmoniously, you know, coming together and respecting your partner and being, you know, in a marriage, I understand how to.
What you're saying is like you're already operating like a wife. Like a
I feel like I met a husband. Like, and not just a husband because I was married.
Like that.
I met my soulmate, so I'm treating him like my soulmate. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm gonna make sure that that is the other half of me. Right. So if there's something wrong with him, I'm running to make sure he's okay. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the answer at the end of the day. The paperwork doesn't mean shit to me.
At the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything because they gonna do what they want to do regardless.
I was married for 12 years and it didn't mean anything. You know, I mean, let me take that back. I don't want to disrespect him and say it didn't mean anything. We loved each other and we raised a great family, a beautiful family. He helped me raise 2 other daughters that weren't his. But we didn't have the perfect relationship. Right. So what I mean is, it doesn't keep somebody faithful. Marriage doesn't keep somebody faithful. It doesn't give you the nurturing, guidance from a man that you're supposed to get. It doesn't give you that stability that you feel. You know what I mean? Like
sometimes people
that comes from a soulmate. You know what I mean? That comes from the man that actually loves you. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying, you know, because the piece of paper doesn't guarantee you get the man that's like that.
Sometimes
so I don't care about the paper. If I got the man, I'm not tripping about the paper.
Yeah, sometimes the paper makes people get comfortable because think about it. Because
people do things for the wrong reasons.
When men get married and the woman, they're like, oh, well, she was doing all this before, but now we're married. Now she don't do none of that. Or vice versa, because people, they like, shoot, I got you now, we good.
But
people get comfortable, period. People get comfortable, period.
Can't be left.
Right. And they get left.
But I think the idea
of legal in me says that if you're gonna have a relationship that's sustaining and that you feel is your soulmate, you have to leave some kind of legal lead.
Absolutely. No. Honestly, I do. I have that conversation.
It can happen. Something can
absolutely
happen. And if you don't have any legalese, then that relationship can just, you know, who's left.
It can be so much more painful for the person that's left behind. You're absolutely
right.
You
can always just do a trust.
And, you know, wills and things like that, you know, you don't have to be legally married for those things, but I agree with you. Yes. Honestly, that's the reason I got married the first time around. My ex-husband was in the military. You know, he was going to go into war. Like, I wanted to make sure that I would be able to fulfill whatever his last wishes were.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, he trusted me at the end of the day. You know, he told me his deepest, darkest secrets. So I get what you're saying because my soulmate, we have those same conversations. And, you know, I trust him to fulfill everything that I would ask, but I don't know if my family would come in and give him a hell. You know what I mean?
Will.
At the end of the day. So I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Yes. And that is something that we have talked about. You know, this is a rekindled something that we had before, that we revisited. So, you know, even the idea of the fact that I know this now is new. You know what I mean? Yes. Within like 6 months. So, you know what I mean? So I'm still kind of getting that idea. But yeah, I would want that, of course, because I've told him everything that I've never told anybody. You know what I mean? Everything you can think of that you would never tell anybody. I've told this person, and he's seen me in my ugliest times. And he still thinks I'm beautiful. You know what I mean? So
it's hard to find people. Right?
Absolutely.
Because most of the time when you tell someone your secrets and they get angry, they use those secrets against you.
Most definitely.
And even the person that loves you can do that as they're learning to process their own emotions in a healthy way, especially somebody who's never been in a healthy relationship before. You know what I mean? That's an adjustment period too, in and of itself. So we went through that period and, you know, being able to see it from all sides, like I can understand even when people feel that way, it's a miscommunication at the end of the day. Now, is that miscommunication worth working through with each other? Because you all know you're going to still decide to be with each other. That's what I've literally had that conversation with him. Yeah, I don't like you right now, but you're not going anywhere. Like, stop calling your cousin to tell him to come pick you up because you're mad because you think that it's the end. Like, I know it's a trauma response. At the end of the day, just know I can go to the other room. Like, I'll go to my son's room and go lay down and go to sleep. And it's just because the energy, like I know our energy next to each other is stressing each other out. Let me just go in here and protect our peace for a little bit, come back to each other because we know we're not going anywhere. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that people don't understand that anymore. And that's why what I was talking about the music is that's the type of music we're listening to. Fuck a dude. He doesn't do anything for me if he's not paying me. Fuck a girl. She's not shit. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about loving, cherishing each other. We're talking about replacing each other.
It's only because we're listening to It's only because we're listening to 80s babies, which were crack babies, and that's the music that we get now because they're the adults.
I mean, and we have the drill music, we got the drill rap, we have all of that stuff. Like, there's just a lot of stuff. And again, it's art. It's art at the end of the day.
Crack babies ain't babies no more. They're adults.
It's art at the end of the day. And the way that people express themselves, I'm not going to say, you know, because again, not everybody likes the way I've been told I can't sing. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm not going to ever say, because it's all subjective. What I like, you might not like. You know what I mean? There's a lane for everybody. And I love that about music. I really do. I wouldn't want to take that away. But at the same time, that's not what my art stands for. You know what I mean? My art and everything that I do, even if it is something like I have sex, I'm a human being. You know what I mean? So some of my music might be about that. But it's not, it's just not, you know what I mean? It's not going to be the only thing I talk
that you
about.
talk about.
Right.
Because as women, that's not the only thing that we
Have
have.
to offer.
Exactly. But,
Right.
but I
how
think,
do you feel about, not to cut you off, but how do you feel about like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion?
No.
Even Trina, when she, Trina used to be big on that.
I
explicit.
love funny women. So Cardi B is hilarious to me. I
She
love her
is.
personality. She's
She
got a
is.
bubbly
She's a comedian.
personality. And when somebody's expressive and funny and that it's captivating. It's good energy to me. Like,
What about her
But
style?
see,
now her
Cardi,
music,
but see, Cardi, she'll tell you quick. She'll be like, "Yeah, I rap about this stuff, but look, I'm still rocking with my man, and whatever
it's
happens
problematic.
with us,
I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
about us."
Yeah,
Double standard.
it is. It's
But
problematic.
that's same with
It's-
Beyonce. Beyonce is say all you single ladies, and then
And
next
that's
thing you
why-
know, she's like,
Same
"I'm
thing.
staying with my husband, put a ring on
Yeah.
it."
And
It's the reality behind when you go home after saying all that, you want somebody there with you.
Right.
But
But she's
artists are.
portraying,
but
she's
listen.
portraying like, "Hey, you single,
know.
do it by yourself."
But listen, we have to understand that it's art.
Right, it's
At
expression.
the end of the day,
And that's what I'm
it's
trying
art.
to say. If we were to
Tupac-
say that don't
I
do
love
it,
Tupac.
then
Tupac was the least gangster, but he could tell a gangster story.
Right.
And he could tell a gangster
was a
story
poet.
and make
he was.
you
He was a
believe
very
he
good
lived
poet.
that
I
life.
own that book that he
Man.
put
And
out. So.
but
Tupac, man.
that's the art form. But people hated that gangster rap. People hated what he had to say.
Yeah.
But he
had a good message too. So that's not even like some of his stuff was, straight up just gangster and that was
Yeah.
it. But most of even his gangster stuff talked about police brutality.
Right.
Yes.
Complete story.
But then,
Yeah.
but then
Story.
it's
And then Dear Mama, like even
but
talking
see,
about
even
the
with that,
crack,
it,
like the
his
pain that he
mama
had to
being
go
on
through.
crack, but it was like
Yeah, like
you
to
still
go
a
back to that.
queen. But then that's kind of controversy because then it's like, is every woman a queen? Is every man a king? If
In
they
their own
behave
right,
in a
everybody that
different
goes
way,
through something,
you
if we
know?
were to judge them and say that they
Yeah.
weren't a queen, think about it. Like Whitney Houston was a drug addict.
She was,
And
she's the
but
queen.
did she do amazing things? Hell yes, she
Yeah.
did. Does that
Yeah.
mean she's not a queen because she
Right.
did the stuff that she did? People call her a crackhead.
It-
You get what I mean?
Yeah, but I've
The
heard
drugs are
people
stronger
say
than
that
you.
like
The
about
drugs are
the
stronger.
Oh yeah, no,
about
no.
his music, like, oh, he's still
Absolutely.
glorifying his crack mama. Well, at the end of the day, she still took care
And
of him and his sister
Right.
as best as she knew how. So yeah, there was still
And people
You
say
know?
that about people call Whitney Houston a crackhead, but she still has a legacy. You get what I mean? So
unfortunately,
I-
her daughter's not here. But,
yeah, I mean, and again, artists are human beings
yeah.
who don't know how to deal with their trauma sometimes. You know what I mean? And
Amy Winehouse.
yeah,
Yeah.
She was
people
amazing.
forget
She was
because we're on a
amazing.
platform where people listen that I'm a human being.
Mhm.
You get what I mean? So like everything that I deal with, every single thing affects me.
Right.
And how I react to it is how I know how to react to it. If we're to judge every single person off of how they reacted when something impacted them emotionally, who are we? We're not
Right.
God. We can't do that. You
And
know
the
what I
one
mean?
thing that we really can't understand is all of those comments and how they affect what,
It stopped me from posting
what
stuff.
you feel.
Yeah.
It stopped me from expressing
because
myself.
at the end of the day, we're
Yeah.
human and people can be so mean.
What I
And if you don't know how to process that properly, because most people that are typing are going right to the next thing.
Here's the
Right.
thing, what I noticed though on that too, the most critical people, the most ugly in terms of what they say to other people to bring other people down are the most hurting people. They're hurt.
Right.
It's a projection of themselves onto other people.
Right.
And once you start to understand that, honestly, those stones that they're trying to throw don't hold any weight any longer. And I don't even want to try to get revenge on those people because I want them to heal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So once you start to understand it from that maturity level, then you don't perpetuate that type of ugliness in the world. You know what I mean? Like
You don't get in that whirlpool.
Right. It's easy to get sucked in because you want to say, oh, you look like you're saying that I look like this. Well, you look like no. No, you should feel beautiful. I'm sorry that you feel like you have to bring another woman down because you don't feel good about yourself. I think you should feel like, beautiful. And it's sad that we have to feel that way to feel better about ourselves.
That's
But who
right.
am I to judge you because society told you to be that way? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. But the only thing that I can say at this point about all of that is I can only be accountable for what I can control. Because I deal with depression a lot because of all the things that we're talking about, you know what I mean? And mental health and trying to put positivity out, having the ugliness come back at me, all of these things. But I'm only going to stress about the things that I can control. And what I can control is what I put out to the world.
Right.
And what I can control is how I express myself in positive ways. And when people disrespect me, how I react to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're not going to see me disrespect you back. I might have been, the past me might have done that, learning.
Yeah.
But now that I'm at the point that I'm at, I know I have a purpose. I've seen it in action. When I've done my music, I've seen what it does now.
Right.
I've seen the doors that it's opened for me. So I know my purpose is greater than me getting mad because somebody doesn't like me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And it's not me putting that person down either. They have a legitimate reason why they might not like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, but it's bigger than us.
Right.
So I got to push that to the side and I have to worry about what I can control. And what I can control is the message that I put out, the image that I can give to other women.
Right.
And, how I work with other people and try to get this music stuff for Oklahoma off the ground.
Right.
Because we
So
need
with
to.
that being
I'm sorry,
said,
Eric, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I had to ask.
She looking at you too.
Have you ever had any like family member look at the type of music that you were writing and say, because you're writing that type of song, I don't want to hear it, what you have to put out?
So here's the thing. So my mom's side of the family never really had a problem with any of the. Now, I'm not gonna say they weren't, it's country in Oklahoma. My mom's the white person in the family. So there are some people in my family that have been, saying racist comments and things. I'm the type of person that I don't tolerate hate for any human being. I don't care if you're my family or not. If you say something about another human being because of their color,
Right.
I don't respect you anymore. I can't even converse with you anymore. We don't have, because you can't hold an intelligent conversation at the end of the day to me. So honestly, it got to the point, as growing up, I don't even know that they know what kind of music that I make. You know what I mean? Because I have mixed children. Even before, my daughter's almost 21 in February. So like, even before that, you know what I mean? There was issues because like when I was growing up, I lived in Florida, like, I dated outside of my race. I'm not one race. I can't really date inside of my race. My dad's Venezuelan, my mom is white. So either way, I'm going outside of a race unless I date somebody that's white and Venezuelan. So what sense does that make? You know what I mean?
right.
So like I said, I don't really see color that way. And when I see anybody that does, I don't mess with them at all. You won't see me with a lot of white friends because as soon as they say something anywhere near privileged, racist, or anything, even just a little bit, I don't hang out with you anymore. So that's why. It's not because I hang out with Black people because I think Black people are cool. Although people in general are, if you're cool, I hang out with you.
Right.
But if you're racist or you look at other people in a certain way, I just can't. It doesn't sit right in my spirit and anything that I stand for. If I'm just hanging out with somebody who has those types of views, that's dangerous.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, especially somebody as that looks like me who does what I do and feels how I feel. If I'm to co-sign for somebody who acts that way, then I'm perpetuating again a hate. And I have more power in doing that than somebody else. And somebody else, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of color doing, and that's not fair, but it is just what it is. And I have to understand that. And that being said, I barely have and the only person in my family that I've spoken to still, even my mother, and it's not because of racism, but even my mother is my cousin, like on my mom's side because of a lot of those reasons. So
That was beautiful, but I was more so talking about like the message of the music.
Right. No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I just don't know. Cause even before that, like I've cut off my family for a lot of those reasons.
Yeah.
My dad actually he took me to my first concert, Boyz II Men concert, the one with Brandy in Oklahoma when it came. Cool. Like I think I was in the 5th grade or something. But anyways, he took me because he knew I loved Boyz II Men and I would always listen to them. And but my dad also had an issue. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I don't know if you know a lot about Latino Hispanic household, but like old school, you know, they're a little racist. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So growing up in that household, like even against other Latino Hispanic people, if they're not, you know, a certain, for example, if I talked to anybody Cuban, he was mad. You know what I mean? Or if somebody called me a Mexican, he was so mad. You know what I mean? We're not Mexican, we're Venezuelan. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I grew up in that I saw that no, I wouldn't. And I don't know, honestly, like I said, I don't know. Everybody on my dad's side, they live in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. They don't speak English. I was never really taught Spanish growing up, and I never took the initiative or accountability to learn it myself. Right. So anytime I speak to anybody in Venezuela, I'm using Google Translate. Right, it's terrible. I need to do better. But yeah, so I don't really know, honestly. I wish I did, but to the ones that are, you know, that have hate in their heart for other people just by the way that they look, I don't really care what they think. So
yeah, the reason I asked because I started doing Christian music. Mm-hmm. But then when I started doing R&B,
my dad loved when I did Christian music.
Rap, people started, especially in my family, like they like, why aren't you doing the Christian music anymore?
Mm-hmm. My dad did that. Why
do I have to do that to make you happy about what I'm doing? So now you're making me unhappy.
Yeah.
Because now I know that you'll only support me if I'm in a certain type of lane.
That's such a good point too, though, of what I was trying to say before with there needs to be an outlet for everybody. It's oversaturated right now. Yeah, That's fine. But at the end of the day, I think we need to realize that expression is just that expression, and everybody needs to have their own platform. With social media nowadays, we can all have that platform. And you know, instead of hating on each other and what we're doing, focus on what you can do. Right. You know, and that's why I was saying, like, yeah, it is problematic. I think I had a podcast interview a couple of weeks ago where we did talk about that. Somebody from the radio station was talking about, you don't understand how problematic it is in the community when all you hear is this drill rap of talking about killing each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, it's a different story if you're talking about actively wanting to go out and do that. But if you're using your music to articulate, I really want to do this thing, but I can't. But that's what's keeping you from doing this thing. Who am I to say? You know, that music that you just wrote about killing this person could have just stopped you from killing this person. So why am I telling you that you shouldn't do that thing? Right. You know, again, accountability at the end of the day, I think everybody, it needs to be advertised more. I don't know. The message needs to be out more that we need to be more accountable of what we do with our own bodies. That what, you know what I mean? Like, just because I listen to a song, a drill rap song, doesn't mean I'm going to go out and kill somebody at the end of the day. Right. You know what I'm saying? So why are we letting this music influence us to a point where we can't go out and create the stuff that is lacking if that's what we feel is happening? Right. You know?
True. So what can the fans expect from you in the future?
I've been researching what would take someone to be consistent with music to actually, you know, be successful. And it's like ridiculous how consistent you have to be. That being said, you're going to see me being way more consistent. Yeah. So, no, but seriously, I think they said every 6 weeks you should come out with a new like EP project, like some kind of project. And I'm like, that is ridiculous with, you know, because the big artists don't have to do that. But they're big artists and they didn't come up that way. It was a whole different time then. Now you have to do it every 6 weeks. So you can probably
to stay relevant.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to become part of a rhythm to where Spotify playlists, y'all. Yeah, the algorithm, exactly. That's what I researched. If you all research what algorithms you need to get in and what trends, it's not just about what TikTok videos are hot at the moment. It's like how often you're releasing your music. Science. how often you're mentioning that you're performing at shows or events, like those words, even in just what you're typing in when you're captioning your photos, not the hashtags, even just the words you're putting in the captions make a difference. And I noticed that when I started saying this did well on TikTok, I posted it here, I instantly get way more reaction and way more engagement than I would have if I didn't say those types of things. So learn the things that work and capitalize on those things and continue to work and do those things. You're going to see me do a lot of those annoying ass things because that consistency is annoying. But you have to be repetitive, because that one person or those 1,000 people that catch on may not have caught on until like a year later.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And how would they have caught on until you got that algorithm that worked? Keep doing the same thing. I want to give a shout out to Tracy, because I have a song with him, but one of the reasons I do is because of a project he came out with, I want to say 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Rule the World. And it inspired me a lot. Like he's amazing.
Yes.
So, but his consistency too, you know what I mean? He's always coming out with new music. He's always coming out with new routines. He's not just doing one thing.
Right.
And he's so young. Let me just say that, because I'm 40, almost 40, and I'm learning these things as I go because of other things that I was doing in life. But, he's doing it the right way. You know what I mean? So if anyone had to take a model of how you should market yourself as an artist, he's a good example, because his branding is all good.
Yes.
And he's always putting out something new, and it's good quality. It's not just I'm posting a selfie of myself or a Snapchat video of me doing It's a whole choreographed routine or a music video or a new song or this or that. You know what I mean? So find your talents that you have and capitalize off of those talents. I do photography, so you're going to see photography out of me. You're going to see I'm going to try to do videography, because the camera that I have is nice. And so I'm going to learn, those things. But I'm going to try to do other content, because you don't want to keep hearing the same thing from someone. If they have one project out like I do, you don't want to keep hearing the same songs out of me over and over and over again. You want to see me do different things. Right. That's going to reel you in to maybe listen to my project. So that hook, line, and sinker is what we need to work on as artists, I think, in Oklahoma. And that's what those content days and things that I was talking about. If we do those things, man, it'd be fun here.
So we're going to put you on the spot. Let's hear you sing something.
Sing something.
Let's hear you sing something. You select, you pick. I don't care. It doesn't have to be one of yours. It could be whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I was just letting him listen to a song that I'm working on.
Okay.
Do I have the beat? I probably don't, but I'll just sing it. Okay. I do weird faces when I sing. I hate doing that. As artists, we got to look in the mirror, because but as like when you sing, when you actually hit the notes, you have to make the ugly faces. Wanye will tell you. Wanye from Boyz II Men, he'll tell you. You got to hit the ugly faces.
Like, can't see out my teeth.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to do this. But okay. No, I think I need music. Hold on.
Be like, let me get it right.
Hold on. Oh, no, I'll do it.
All right.
Okay. I guess I just like your vibe. You make me feel so high. Feels like I'm on cloud nine. I guess I just like your vibe. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, listen, you have the camera, you have the floor. You look in that camera and you tell your audience and the world anything you want to say. You have the time.
Okay, so if you haven't already followed me on social media, you should do so. If you don't know how to spell my name, I'll do it now. Amber is traditional spelling, AMBER if you don't know. But DeCassios is D like dog, EC like cat, ASS, Sam, IOS, Sam. So you can find me there. Like if you search DeCassios, Amber will pull up on all of the social medias that I have a social media on. I post consistently on all of my social medias. And you can add my music on Apple Music or any streaming platform by my name. So please do.
Well, we want to thank you for coming out. We loved having this conversation with you. We could just go on and on and on. I tell
know.
you.
Kind of was like,
And
I would.
no, we like it. So we appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Empress.
I hit it last time when I was trying to sing. So.
All right. I think you took my last question.
I took your last question. I thought we were done with questions.
But she had to make it known that her question was taken.
Yeah.
Even if it was taken 20 minutes ago, it was taken. And you're going to feel that in this moment right now. Yes.
Well,
we did enjoy you, and
likewise.
I actually like her music. It was kind of good.
You know what? I like that. You can take away the kinda. How good was it?
Right, kind of good. You spend hours behind the scene. You're gonna say kind of good.
Look,
No. I honestly would want you to be honest about it. So if it was kind of good, I'm happy with that.
It was kind of good. It's just I needed more. You know, just a little bit.
I got more coming.
Content, you know. So once you get a little bit more, then I can be like, oh, she dope. She dope. I mean, you are dope. But you know,
I feel you. No.
It'd be like I have you.
It's like, is this consistent?
I have you
or
on
is this a one-hit wonder?
Right, you know, then you be on my playlist.
No. I feel you.
Only on Wingz Alwayz.
But like I said, consistency is going to be something that you see from me. And that's one thing I want to leave with every single artist that might be watching this is release it. You're scared of releasing it. That's what's holding you back. If you release it, it doesn't matter how well it does in the end. Put it out there.
Yes.
Because you made it for a reason and it deserves a platform.
I told one Oklahoma artist that, and we've interviewed her, and she has this song out that is just amazing, but she keeps holding it back or trying to redo it. And
I sat on those songs that you listened to for 2 years.
That song is amazing. Just play it. Let the world have it. You have to, a mother can only hold that baby for 9 months.
Right.
It's scary how the world will receive it, though. You know what I mean? Like, you have your own expectation. I listen to my music all day, every day, because I made it to my liking.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody else doesn't like it as much as I do, it hurts because, it's like you made it.
And we're perfectionists. Even as an artist, we're perfectionists. I remember one time somebody told me that I was looking at my videos over and over again, but it wasn't that I was looking at my videos over and over again. I wanted to learn how I can be better. I want to see.
That's how I do as an instructor.
So did you ever think about making your own beat?
No.
You're like, I'm not gonna.
That's not a talent that I have. No, honestly, and this is something I'm revealing. I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'm diagnosed autistic, and so I don't have a lot of certain things that would come easy or make sense. Well, how can I make music as far as singing and be able to layer it all and all of those things without being told anything about music theory at all, being able to harmonize and all of that? I can't explain it. It just happened. Like I said, I don't even know why it was R&B, but it just happened.
It just happened. What you learned.
If you ask me to do anything else while I'm singing, even barely moving my hand, it's awkward because it's like something shuts off in my brain. You know what I mean? And I really can't explain it. So when it comes to creating like beats and stuff like that, I can understand what it's communicating to me. Like that's how I approach it. Like if somebody made a beat, I listen to all of the layers of music coming together and what is that message trying to convey to me? And my job then is to put something over top of it. You know what I mean? And that's and sandwich it to the melodies, to what's in that beat even. You know what I mean? Like that's how far I go into it. So because I approach it that way, I can't even begin to have an idea of how it would start. You know what I mean? Because that part of the art, I respect so much. Like honestly, I can sit and watch my boyfriend make a beat all day and be like, that's so fucking amazing because you're putting your part of your soul out and that's how you're communicating. It's not through words, it's through all of the music that you
Have you ever thought of doing music with him? We interviewed.
Under these conditions, something's missing. Cause you always find a reason to be different with me. I know we ain't been cool. Cause what you heard was true. But please don't call it quits. It can end like this. We got too much to lose. I know we ain't been cool. Cause what that's behind us. You and your feelings, I'm in my feelings, that shit's exhausting. Too much fighting, not enough fucking, way too often. Know I be feeling the flame, never mean to cause you pain. I know I be stuck in my ways. Girl, you know I'm trying to change. For you, you know I do about just anything to be close to you, cause that's all that I wanna do. I know we ain't been cool, cause what you heard was true. Cause what you heard was true. But please don't call it quits. We can't let love. We got too much to lose. Way too much to lose. We ain't been cool. Oh, I know we ain't been cool. Baby, cause what you heard was true. Please don't call it quits. We can't let them know. We got too much to lose. Too much to lose. Started when we were younger, you were mine. Started when we were young, you were mine.
It was kind of good.
You know what? I like that. You can take away the kinda. How good was it?